They never wanted you to hear this. Because the moment you do, everything changes. Not just the way you see India, but the way you see yourself, your potential, your limitations, and the system that's been feeding you lies since you were old enough to listen. What if I told you that the next superpower isn't coming with tanks, bombs, or threats? It's coming with brains, with time, with intentional silence, and a plan so long in the making, most never even noticed it unfolding until it was too late. And now, it's almost too late for you to catch up. See, this isn't about India versus America. That's the surface-level narrative. The truth? India studied the empire, studied its flaws, its addictions, its blind pride. And now, India is turning the very game America built against it. No one talks about this, because power doesn't announce itself. It whispers first, then strikes. And here's the part that should scare you. While most of the world was busy scrolling, swiping, sleeping, India was moving, building, learning, suffering, but not quitting. And if you're still living by the old rules, you're already falling behind. You think motivation is about feeling good? It's not. It's about waking up to brutal truth, to real stakes, to the clock that's been ticking while you waste your life waiting for permission to move. And now, here's the first truth you were never supposed to hear. The world rewards action, not awareness. India stopped waiting for permission, and it's not coming anymore. It's already inside the system, running it, flipping it. And while you were told to go slow, play safe, stay humble, they were being told to dominate, adapt, win. Here's what this really means for you. If you're an American, your edge is disappearing, fast. If you're not Indian, you better start thinking like one. And if you are Indian, your time is now, not next year, not someday, now. Because the real war isn't between nations, it's between mindsets. America built systems of luxury. India, it's building systems of resilience. And resilience will always outlast comfort. Let me make it simple. America created the internet. India is building the next one. And it's not built for fun. It's built for survival, for scale, for the next billion souls. And you're still waiting for the right moment to start? Listen carefully. You are living through a power shift that only happens once every few centuries. Not just geopolitically, psychologically. This is your wake-up call. Not to worship India, but to learn from what it's doing right. To strip away your pride, your comfort, your excuses, and start acting like someone who knows time is running out. Because it is. This speech matters because it's the blueprint for your mental rebellion. This isn't inspiration. This is a reprogramming. And if you're ready, we go deeper next. But once we do, you don't come back the same. The most dangerous enemy is the one who doesn't announce their war. While the West broadcasted its dominance with fanfare and fireworks, India moved like smoke, quiet, invisible, everywhere. Because true power doesn't beg for attention. It commands it without saying a word. You were taught to look at India and see call centers, curry, and chaos. But behind the noise was a nation training in the dark. A population of over 1 billion minds, not seeking comfort, but clawing for opportunity. Not fed by dreams of luxury, but forged in the pressure of necessity. And that pressure, it either breaks you or turns you into something unrecognizable. India didn't just evolve, it transformed into a mindset, a strategy, a force. Because while most countries build empires from outside, with weapons, land, or treaties, India is building one from the inside out, through code, through systems, through sheer mental force. And while America shaped the global dream with Hollywood illusions, India studied the fine print of how empires rise and how they fall. Because all it takes is one thing to kill a giant, a shift in leverage. And India found it, not in weapons, in infrastructure, in digital identity, in scalability. They didn't just mimic what worked in the West, they refined it. In America, it takes years to innovate at scale. In India, it's happening in months. Why? Because they're not chained by ego. They're not obsessed with preserving a broken system. They're obsessed with what works. That's the killer advantage. Because when you let go of the illusion of how things should be, you become unstoppable at building what must be. This is what most people don't understand. The world is no longer moved by strength. It's moved by adaptation. And India has adapted faster than any country on earth, because it had to. That's why it's now exporting more than engineers. And apps, it's exporting a philosophy. Build lean, move fast, think deep, scale wide, play the long game. So here's the real question you should be asking. Are you playing the long game, or are you just surviving one short day at a time? Because while you're busy reacting to life, someone else is architecting it. Someone like you. Same age, same access, different mindset. They're not watching motivational videos for entertainment. They're watching them to unlock blueprints, to master time, to weaponize knowledge, to flip the script. And if that's not you yet, then wake up. You've been lied to about what success takes. It's not about hustle, not about luck. It's about systems. India's rise isn't a coincidence. It's not a miracle. It's not even a surprise. It's a strategy executed relentlessly over time. So here's your pivot point. Either keep waiting for a savior or become your own. Because the same energy that's rising in India can rise in you, but only if you stop playing the victim. Next, I'm going to show you exactly how that energy works, how India engineered its mindset to win while the world slept. But first, if you're ready to lock in your transformation, comment this phrase twice. I am built for legacy. I am built for legacy. Say it, write it, claim it. Because from this point forward, we don't chase motivation. We become it. Mindset is not motivational. It's mechanical. You've been told it's all about attitude. Smile more. Stay positive. Trust the process. But let me break the illusion. That's the same script they feed the weak, while the powerful write new ones from scratch. India didn't rise because it believed in itself. It rose because it rewired its behavioral code. It rewired the collective mindset of over 1 billion people, from survival to domination. And that, right there, is the ultimate secret. Change your behavior, or your beliefs mean nothing. See, America built dreams. India built discipline. You know what discipline is? Waking up every day in chaos and still executing with precision, still building, still thinking, still moving toward the future while others drown in the present. Let's talk timetables, because here's what you don't see. India doesn't waste mornings. The elite class, the engineers, founders, coders, strategists, they rise before the city does. They don't scroll, they build, they study, they hack their own system day after day, and while you're hitting snooze, someone in Bangalore or Delhi is already 4 hours deep into product development that's going to replace your job. Not because they hate you, but because they're hungry, because for decades they were told they were second class. Now they're engineering the very platforms that run your life. This isn't just about India anymore. This is about the system that taught you to be soft. Soft with your energy. Soft with your standards. Soft with your life plan. You were taught to chase comfort. They were taught to weaponize discomfort. To push through. To learn English, code, geopolitics, and blockchain, all while living in a city with rolling blackouts and barely functioning internet. And still, they did not stop. That's what mindset really is. Doing what you said you would do long after the emotion is gone. You think America's biggest threat is China? You're wrong. It's the quiet army of Indian thinkers, dreamers, coders, and builders who are not posting quotes about success. They're becoming it. So ask yourself, where's your mental stamina? Where's your obsession with mastery? Where's your calendar built for transformation, not distraction? Because the next decade will not reward you for potential. It will reward you for one thing: precision execution at scale. You need to treat your days like India treats innovation. Lean, aggressive, no wasted motion, no ego. That means your schedule needs to serve your next level, not your current mood. Block time for learning, for building, for studying systems that create leverage, not entertainment that just soothes your pain. Because here's the brutal truth. If your routine doesn't have urgency, your life never will. This is the real war, and it's not on the battlefield. It's in your mindset, your habits, your discipline, your inner infrastructure. You've been conditioned to react. It's time to construct. From this moment on, ask yourself before every action, is this building me or breaking me? Because if you're not building a daily operating system, someone else's system is already operating you. And in the next section, we're diving into the hidden power behind India's infrastructure shift and how you can mirror it in your own life. We're going beyond mindset. We're going into mental architecture. And once you see how deep it goes, you'll never see motivation the same way again. Power doesn't come from what you own. It comes from what you control. And control begins with infrastructure, not roads, not buildings. I'm talking about systems of control. Your thoughts, your time, your habits, your access, your identity. Now listen carefully, because this is where India changed the game forever, while the rest of the world kept playing by outdated rules. The West built privatized empires, tech companies with monopolies, data hoards, and paywalls. India built public weapons, open source power, government-engineered digital rails, a full-stack infrastructure not owned by billionaires, but by the nation itself. Aadhaar.UPI, India Stack. You might have heard the names. But what you haven't heard is the philosophy. India stopped relying on Silicon Valley for solutions and started architecting its own code of civilization. Think about this. In America, identity is fragmented. Your license, your bank, your credit, your medical history, split across platforms that barely talk to each other. In India, it's centralized, secured, and deployed at scale. At 3 billion people, digitally mapped, financially included, and systematically onboarded into the future. No middlemen, no friction, no mercy. Why does this matter to you? Because this is what the new world rewards. Those who control the infrastructure win. And it's not just about countries. It's personal. Your habits, infrastructure. Your morning routine, infrastructure. Your calendar, infrastructure. And if your life has no system, then you have no control. That's why you feel stuck. That's why you're overwhelmed. That's why you're watching the rise of others and asking, why not me? Because you never built your inner infrastructure. You chased motivation. You chased inspiration. But those are temporary inputs. Infrastructure is permanent leverage. India didn't just try hard, dare. It built better. It didn't beg for access. It created doors, then manufactured the keys. And that's what you need to do. Don't just build habits. Engineer frameworks. Don't just set goals. Design ecosystems around them. Wake up at the same time every day. Block your time. Assign every hour a purpose. Review, refine, recalibrate, just like India is doing. Because here's the dark secret behind all success. Winners build infrastructure. Losers chase emotion. Emotion says, I don't feel like it today. Infrastructure says, it doesn't matter, it gets done. Emotion says, I'll do it later. Infrastructure says, it's scheduled, it's already moving. That's what separates someone who dreams of changing from someone who is changing. And here's what's coming. India's digital infrastructure is about to become the blueprint for the next 50 nations. You know why? Because when chaos rises, and it will, everyone will follow the model that worked under pressure. And that's India's model. But you need to stop waiting for infrastructure to save you. You need to become it. Discipline is infrastructure. Focus is infrastructure. Tracking your own progress with military intensity, that's infrastructure. You want power? Build something in your life that moves without your permission. That's how you beat distraction. That's how you become untouchable. And in the next section, we go further. We crack open the psychological engine behind India's mindset shift, how it turned pain into clarity and clarity into unshakable direction. You're not here for fluff. You're here to learn how to rewrite your operating system. And we're not done yet. Most people break under pressure. The elite, they shape pressure into a weapon. India didn't rise because everything went right. It rose because everything went wrong, and it kept going anyway. Understand this. The future doesn't belong to the strongest. It belongs to the ones who can suffer the longest and still stay focused. Pain is currency in this world, and India has paid in full. Colonial extraction, decades of underdevelopment, brain drain, poverty, corruption, chaos. But guess what? All of it became fuel. Because here's what the world never understood. India's not just rising in tech, it's rising in spirit, in mindset, in psychological war readiness. This isn't about GDP or unicorns anymore. This is about a nation and a generation becoming immune to excuses. Ask yourself, when your plans fall apart, do you rebuild? Or do you scroll, numb out, blame the economy? Because India didn't just survive failure. It converted failure into systems. Example. COVID-19 didn't just lock India down, it ignited it. Education went remote, healthcare digitized, fintech exploded. 1 billion people were forced to adapt or be erased, and adaptation became default mode. Now you have startups in Tier 2 towns solving billion-dollar problems, kids in villages building AI chatbots, teenagers in slums launching profitable apps. How? Because there's no illusion left. They know nobody's coming to save them. And when you finally accept that truth, you either collapse or transform. That's the power you've been denied. The Western mindset says, burnout is bad, rest is self-care. But what if pressure is the forge? What if struggle is the certification? What if failure is the filter for greatness? That's how India plays now. They don't run from resistance. They study it. They extract leverage from it. They turn every delay into a feature, every mistake into a muscle. And you're waiting for perfect conditions to take action? Let me make this clear. The future will not be comfortable. It will be intense. It will reward the prepared, not the positive. This is the death of the good vibes only era. What's coming next? Recession, automation, global instability. It will crush anyone who can't think like a builder under fire. And India is full of them now. So the question is, are you preparing for war or hoping for peace? Because in this new era, comfort is a liability. Consistency is the currency. Get used to discomfort. Train in it. Breathe it. Learn to smile inside storms. You don't need a perfect life. You need a relentless operating system. Failure is your lab. Pain is your compass. Discomfort is your coach. And if you're not building your mindset on these pillars, you're building on sand. Next up, we go darker. We're diving into manipulation, how systems keep you soft, and how India is rewriting the playbook to manipulate the manipulators. You're about to see behind the curtain. And once you do, you'll never unsee it. You were never weak. You were just being manipulated to believe you were. And once you understand that, you start seeing the strings, pulling your thoughts, your fears, your reactions, your identity. Let's cut deep, because this is the part no one talks about. You were never lazy. You were programmed to stay small, through ads, through comfort, through false rewards. Your ambition was hijacked by cheap dopamine. Your hunger, sedated with convenience. You were taught to chase validation, not vision. Taught to ask for permission instead of taking position. And while you were numbing your instincts with screens and slogans, India was quietly dismantling its own mental chains, not just politically, psychologically. It started recognizing the matrix for what it was, a script designed to keep empires in place and others in check. But India didn't just escape the matrix, it started writing new rules for it. Rules that flipped the algorithm, rules that trained people to think in systems, not slogans. Let me break this down. Manipulation has two faces: external control, ads, media, fear, lies, keeps you distracted, divided, and addicted. Internal compromise, doubt, delay, overthinking, makes you believe you're not ready. India crushed both. How? By anchoring its rise to one dangerous idea. We've been underestimated long enough. Now we weaponize that. And that's what you need to learn now, not just to break free, but to reverse the manipulation. Because here's the brutal irony: the world respects what it can't control. When India stopped trying to imitate and started innovating with intent, the game changed. It started manipulating the narrative, not with lies, but with results. Now the same CEOs that used to offshore grunt work are being replaced by Indian-born leaders. The same systems that ignored India's voice are now running on indies and infrastructure. And here's the masterstroke. India didn't beg for a seat at the table. It built a new table, and it's doing it calmly, patiently, unapologetically. That's how you win at manipulation, by becoming unmanipulatable. So here's your pivot. Stop trying to be liked. Start building leverage. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start moving like you're already late. You think you're free? Ask yourself this: who benefits from you staying exactly the same? Because somebody does. Every time you skip that workout, every time you hit snooze, every time you don't feel like it, someone wins. And it's not you. It's time to flip the mirror. Take control of your schedule, your inputs, your routines, your environment. Delete the apps that own your time. Cut the people who drain your fire. Silence the noise, study the pattern, break the loop. India saw the matrix and hacked it. Now it's your turn. In the next section, we go even deeper. We reveal how India's long journey through failure and friction forged a new life path blueprint, one you can adopt immediately. This isn't just about ambition anymore. This is identity re-engineering. And you're ready, because if you've made it this far, you're no longer chasing motivation. You're chasing power. There is no right path. There is only the one you build with blood and time. You've been sold a lie, a clean, tidy, step-by-step journey. Graduate, work, marry, save, retire. Like life was a staircase with no broken steps. But let me show you the real map. The one India followed. The one the elite don't show, because if you saw it, you'd stop obeying and start building. India's life journey wasn't linear. It was violent, chaotic, messy, full of broken dreams, stolen futures, and impossible odds. But instead of collapsing, it evolved. And that's the blueprint for you right now, because your path will never be clean. It will be brutal, filled with detours, delays, and soul-crushing uncertainty. That's how legacy is built. See, most people think success is a destination, but India proves it's a reaction to pressure, to setbacks, to humiliation. And here's what they don't teach in school. Your life isn't meant to follow the system. It's meant to break it. You're not here to color inside the lines. You're here to redraw the borders. India's rise was not a moment. It was a grind. 1,000,000 tiny pivots, 1,000,000,000 quiet sacrifices, and a mindset that said, we will outlast you, then outperform you, then outsmart you. You need to apply that right now to your own timeline. Forget what age you should have it all figured out. Forget what society says you should be doing. You're not behind, you're becoming. But becoming requires brutality. It requires you to build a system inside your life. One that doesn't break when your plans do. Let me tell you what that looks like. Wake up with non-negotiables. Treat your calendar like a battlefield, not a suggestion. Learn something every damn day, not to impress, but to arm yourself. Build your day around outputs, not emotions. Study your pain. Track your friction. find your patterns. Then, exploit them. Because once you know how you break, you know how to build. This is exactly what India did. It tracked its own pain, resource gaps, poverty zones, friction points, then built infrastructure around those weaknesses. It mapped its suffering, then coded solutions. That's the real journey. You don't walk the path. You build it with scars, and every scar is sacred. Your failures, logs, your tears, mortar, your grit, the steel frame of something no one can take from you, but only if you're bold enough to keep laying bricks when it feels like no one's watching. India built for decades in the shadows. Now it's leading in the light. That's how your life changes too. Privately first, then publicly forever. In the next section, I'm going to take you into the truth about time, how India weaponized it, how you're wasting it, and how to bend it in your favor. Because this isn't just a motivational speech. This is your awakening, and time is your most powerful ally, or your silent assassin. You think you have time. That's the greatest lie they ever sold you. Time is not your friend. It doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about your excuses. And it doesn't care how long you wait to finally take yourself seriously. Because while you're debating when to start, India already started. And now, it's not catching up. It's compounding. That's the hidden force behind India's rise, time compression. While America took decades to build its digital ecosystem, India condensed that evolution into years. What took Silicon Valley 30 years, India replicated and reinvented in 5. You know how? Because urgency is a superpower, not anxiety, not panic, urgency. The sharp surgical awareness that your window is shrinking. See, time is not just hours and minutes. Time is momentum. Time is velocity. Time is the invisible gate behind every breakthrough you miss. And if you don't respect time, it will punish you for your disrespect. Here's how India respected it. It stopped romanticizing the past. It stopped waiting for global validation. It built for the now at the speed of necessity. That's what you need to copy. Because you're still negotiating with time. You're still saying things like, I'll start next month. I'll work on my goals after things calm down. I just need to feel motivated first. Meanwhile, someone else with less talent, fewer connections, and more pain is outworking you, outbuilding you, outscaling you. Because they've realized something you haven't. You don't need more time. You need to move faster with the time you've got. Speed is the new intelligence. Every minute you waste, someone else owns. India's founders, coders, and creators, they're not waiting for someday. They're on 18-hour grinds, waking up before the city, taking calls at midnight, shipping code by sunrise, not because it's glamorous, because it's necessary. The West grew rich, then soft. India grew poor, then ruthless with time. And now that it has momentum, nothing will stop it. So what about you? Still wasting your time on doubt? Still scrolling when you should be studying? Still talking when you should be executing? Because the most dangerous force on earth isn't nuclear. It's compounding action over time. That's what built India's digital empire. One small daily execution, multiplied over 1.4 billion minds. That's power. So now, make it personal. Your minutes, your mornings, your schedule. Turn them into a weapon. Block distractions. Cancel noise. Track every task like it defines your legacy. Because it does. You will never find time. You must take it. Steal it back from the lies, from the distractions, from the laziness you pretend is self-care. Time respects discipline, and it destroys the undisciplined. In the final section, I'll show you how to take everything we've unlocked, mindset, time, pain, systems, infrastructure, and become unshakable. Because power isn't in the knowing, it's in the becoming. And that journey ends with identity. You don't get the life you deserve. You get the identity you enforce. And here's the raw, final truth. Everything we've talked about, India's rise, infrastructure, time mastery, mindset, systems, it all leads here. Who do you believe you are when no one's watching? Not who you post as, not who your job says you are, not who your parents hoped you'd become. I mean the unfiltered you, the one that shows up when it's 4 a.m. and the plan has failed, and no one is coming to fix it. That's where true power begins. And India understood that. This wasn't just a technological revolution. This was a spiritual reset. 1 billion people finally realizing we're not the background anymore. We are the main event. And now, so are you. But you have to stop confusing effort with identity. See, most people try to succeed while never actually becoming someone who must. India stopped trying to be taken seriously. It became undeniable. That's what you must do. Burn the plan, build the person. Because here's the psychological cheat code. Systems fail, motivation fades, but identity? That rewrites your destiny. If your identity says, I'm disciplined, then discipline isn't something you fight for. It's something you protect. If your identity says, I lead, then you stop looking for sign and start giving them. If your identity says, I adapt faster than anyone, then nothing life throws at you will break you. It'll build you. India rewired its national identity, from servant to strategist, from back office to boardroom, from follower to force. And now, so must you. This isn't about chasing success. It's about becoming someone success can't ignore. Write this down. Tattoo it on your brain. Let it eat your excuses. I am not here to survive. I am here to dominate. Say it again. I am not here to survive. I am here to dominate. That's your final lock-in phrase. The new programming. The final firewall between the old you and the unshakable force you're about to become. And from this point on, no more soft mornings, no more fragile ambition, no more comfort-first calendars, only execution, only systems, only the mission. Because now, you've seen the blueprint. India didn't wait for permission, and neither will you. They said India couldn't lead. They were wrong. They say you can't change. Prove them dead wrong. This is your moment to stop being the product of your past and start being the architect of your future. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly on time to become legendary. Now go build. End of speech. If this moved you, share it. Comment below. I am not here to survive. I am here to dominate. Twice, lock it in. Engage the algorithm. But more importantly, engage your transformation. Now get out there and be the threat they never saw coming.